Hey, it's Icarice, and I'm here to tell you about Hotcast for Podcasting. We are a podcasting studio located in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Hot 702.5 FM studios. You can book online at hot7025fm.com. Just click on Hotcast. You can book and find your times right there. Thank you for booking with Hotcast for Podcasting.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com. Keep your radio dial right here.
It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California's sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Boom, 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 boom. What we doing? What are we doing out in these streets, my people? It is Wednesday. We got a whole new look in the studio. Over here, it's Holla at the Homie time. You already know what it is. I know y'all missed me last week. Last week was actually my father's angel day, but I was actually getting oral surgery last week. Boy, y'all, your boy been cut on, sliced on, and been dipped and dodged and poked and prodded and more in the last, what up, Dakarai? In the last, what's up, Lulu? Good to see you, homegirl. In the last year that I ever been in my entire life. But I'm back in this thing like a wedgie, baby, and we are here in the studio right here, 3/4 of the way down the street from the Sahara. No, I'm just talking smack. I'm just saying, using that as a reference as far as volume. But what y'all been doing in my absence? Y'all been all right? Y'all been cool? What's up, Critty? Out there in that thing still looking pretty. What's happening all throughout the city? Speaking of the city, this city about to get taken over this weekend by a lot of my homeboys. So if y'all ain't ready right here in Vegas, man, my friends, my closest comrades are coming in. What's going on, cousin J.E.? What's happening with you? A lot of my comrades are coming in town this weekend, and they said they coming to do a city takeover because today is one of my sister-in-law's birthday. What's up, Matt Seward? Happy birthday to May Neal. May Via Fuerte Neal, my sister from another mister, the wife of one of my best friends, Jason. Mrs. Neal's birthday is today. I would never disclose a lady's age. I would never do that. I'm not trying to deal with that kind of smoke. What's up, McFadden? Good to see you back like a pot of cooked crack. But yeah, you know, I'll never give out a woman's age, but happy birthday to May Neal. On the belated side of things, yeah, exactly. See, they giving you shouts out on there too, May Neal, my sister from another mister. Anybody who knows me know I come through this thing, and if I got your number on your birthday, I'm going to call you. But I'm more than likely going to leave you a voice text because I know everybody calling, so I don't expect what's going on, Forever Beautiful Nicole. I don't expect everybody. What's up, Knockout? My homeboy in the building. What's going on with you, Woody J? I don't expect everybody to answer the phone on their birthday, stuff like that, because you may have a lot going on. So what I do is I'll leave you a voice text and kind of hit you off with a little bit of personal birthday card for you. So I hit May with one of those earlier today. And I hope she enjoyed that. I think she did because she sent me back a message with a lot of hearts and said, I love you, brother, stuff like that. So that's how we do it around here. But, it's her birthday, but we're going to celebrate her all weekend. It's Lovers and Friends weekend out here in Vegas. Yeah, if you in the Las Vegas area, make sure that if you're near the festival area, make sure that you know where you're going, what you're doing, how to get inside the perimeter Because if you don't have the tickets, they ain't gonna let you in that thing. Trust and believe. It's ain't really no sneaking in the lovers and friends. Just a heads up on that. They got this Vegas, man, security everywhere. But some people been successful. Some people been successful enough to sneak in there. I'm not gonna say anybody's names, but I know some of the slickest of the slick, and I've seen some of the slickest slicks do the slickest things. So that's how we gonna do that. But anyway, we on a good note. We always like to talk about it. I always like to give a disclaimer. Welcome to the number one online or in-person advice column. You got hollering at the homie. I'm your homie 360, the poet. That's THAPOET. Make sure you spell it right because it means something. Tenacity, heart, and attitude present opportunities every time, right? So that being said, I always like to let people know that, yes, this is an advice column, but I have not, or I probably will not, attend any classes or haven't gone in. You know what? If somebody sponsored a class, I'll go. But I have not paid for any tuition or attended any classes that deal with psychology, psychiatry, counseling, or anything of that nature. But what I consider myself is a help you get through your life coach. Not just a life coach, but help you get through your life and answer the questions that may hit you across the face. Like we used to say on the morning wood, smacking you across the face with the best of the questions in the world. So that's what we do here. What's going on, JB? Joyce Brizzy in the building. Little sister also from another mister in the building as well. So I'm here to answer the questions for you. I answer some of them. People send me letters, send me emails, stuff like that. I never tell people what to do. I just give you options of what can be done. And we take it from there. I never sit there and say, hey, this is I'm holding up good, holding up solid. I'm over here I'm back at it. I ain't gonna show the world all my abdomen scars, but I got a story to tell. You know what I mean? So my 6-pack gonna turn into a 10-pack just because it's been sliced up in a couple directions. But that's how we gonna do that. But again, I never tell anybody what to do. But what I do is I give you an opportunity of understanding things that you can do based off what you ask me, right? So we're going to dive straight into it. We got a good one today. It's from a concerned father, and he's talking about the family business. And we know all of us got our ways of looking at the family business, no matter what it is, whether, you know what I'm saying? What's going on, Iris, 1980? You know what I mean? So it's never about what the business is per se, right? It's just about when you got a family business or a profession that the family goes into. Just say, for instance, you're a teacher, and a lot of people in your family are teachers. So, or if you're a doctor and everybody in your family turn out to be doctors, or if you're a dope boy and everybody in your family just happen to be dope boys and dope girls, or whatever the case may be, anywhere on any end of the spectrum, whatever the family business is, not saying like it's a business that, has your family name on it. We're just talking about the business that your family is known for being in. Like, oh, that's the Jacksons. A bunch of them is teachers. Or that's the Emorys. They whole family is preachers. Anything, whatever it may be. The family business, the business that your family is most likely to be associated with if you all have a pattern of such, right? So that's what we're talking about today. So let's dive straight into this letter. I'm going to pick my paper up a little bit so I can read it a little bit better. We got a whole new setup over here in the studio, so all my papers don't fit the same way anymore, so got to do a lot of holding until I figure it out and why going on. You know what I mean? See, I wasn't here last week, so this is what happens. Time to make that change. Hope they ain't trying to put me out of here. We'll figure it out. But here we go. Dear Holla at the homie, I find myself in a situation where I'm at a crossroads and I could really use some advice. I hope you can offer some insight that might help me navigate through this challenging time. I'm a deputy sheriff, and my wife is a sergeant in the local police department. We come from a family of law enforcement, and it runs deep. Even my in-laws are members of various law enforcement agencies. It's been an honorable tradition that I've been proud to uphold for many years. However, my dilemma lies with our 22-year-old son. He has expressed a strong desire to join the family business. On the surface, it might seem like a natural progression, but deep down, I have reservations. I don't believe he's cut out for this line of work, and to be honest, I'm not sure how much I believe in it myself anymore. I've seen firsthand the challenges and sacrifices that come with a career in law enforcement. The mental and emotional toll can be immense, and I worry that my son may not be prepared for what lies ahead. Moreover, I'm grappling with my own doubts and uncertainties about the profession itself. How do I approach my wife and my immediate family about my reservations regarding our son's desire to join law enforcement? How do I convey my concerns without causing rifts or disappointments? I want what's best for my son, but I also want to be true to my own beliefs and experiences. Any guidance and perspective you can offer will be greatly appreciated. Sincerely, a concerned father. Wow. Dang. See, y'all thought it was going to be some dope dealing going on in here. Like, I was talking to my my producer / station owner / engineer / sister from another mister. And she was like, that's kind of like ghosts in them, if you think about it, but just on the good side of things. And I said, dang, I didn't even think about it that way, You say Blue Bloods. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even think about them. I ain't watching enough of Blue Bloods to know. I just know Tom Selleck on there still looking like Magnum P.I. That's all I know. He be on the commercials looking like Magnum P.I. But he really don't think his son is cut out for it. He don't think it's something that he should be doing. And first off, big props to the father for reaching out because, it takes some guts. Especially for a father to reach out about some advice about a son, because all of us with sons think we know everything we need to know about teaching them how to be a man, but sometimes there's questions that come about, right? And you can't be scared to ask these questions if something along those lines does play out, in the event that it is more like Ghosts or Blue Bloods or something along those lines. What's going on, neighbor Nicole? Then you got something, to work with, because you can kind of look at how they handle the situation, but I look at it a couple different ways. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta, let's unpack the situation. First of all, like, the family is deeply rooted in law enforcement. Like everybody, the police. What you say? I think he's being a father and he's seeing his son as a son and not as a man. Ooh, that's a good take on it. That's a good take on it because Icarice said something similar. She was like, it should be the son coming to the dad saying he don't want to be a part of this whole situation, not the dad saying he don't think. What up, Al Rich? Chime in. Let me know if you want Trey out there slanging, be the junior Superman of the car biz, or you think he don't think he cut out for it, or you don't think that's his lane. He might do something different because Trey's smart as hell. But anyway, this father here, that's a good point. Lulu Talley. Lulu said, he thinks she's looking at his son as a son and not as a man. We have to be able to decipher between those things when our children grow up. When they grow up, even if you want to go back to the fables in the Bible, it says things like, when I was a child, I behaved as a child. I operated as a child. When I became a man, I put away my childish things, right? So, so if you've seen him progress, he's 22 years old. So we know mentally, if he's 22 years old in real age, mentally as a guy, he's 18, 19. So this is something that you must take into consideration. At 18 or 19, mentally, would you want your little brother? Would you want your son? Would you want your, your baby daddy even out there trying to be the police with their mentality at that age, 18, 19? Because as a guy, if you're 22, more likely you're mentally somewhere close to 18, 19, 20, maybe if you got a little advanced. Our brain don't really catch up to us till we really get into our 40s. And even then, we still be kind of like, on the catch up mustard, type of philosophy. So, so he's looking at this as his son, yes. And as a man growing into himself is what I kind of look at it, right? So you got to kind of decipher that. His wife is even the police. So, his wife, her family, all them the police. All of them the police. So he kind of like probably met her on the job, like, dang, I married into all these other police, and now I don't really want my son to be the police. Like I watched him grow up. I was, hoping he'd go off and get a scholarship and do something different or something. I don't know what he thought prior to him becoming 22. I just know at 22 right now, what'd you say? Send him to law school. You said, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one too, Knockout. Knockout says send him to law school, but then maybe he don't have the brains for that. Everybody can't get in. You can get in there, but can you get out? A lot of people can get into law school. I think anybody can get into law school, but how many people can get out? That's the question. Like, because you gotta jump over the bars just to get to the bar, just to pass the bar. Would you say he's also thinking about this political climate with the law enforcement? That's what I was thinking about more than anything else, Lulu Talley. I was thinking about more like he said he's seen how like the uncertainties and has his own doubts and uncertainties about the profession. So I think he's more along the lines like, the police ain't really what it's cracked up to be. He said he's been in law enforcement. He's a deputy sheriff. He didn't say how long he's been in. But if he's been in long enough to have a 22-year-old son and his wife is a law enforcement, so more than likely they didn't get pregnant while, later on in the career, and even if they did, he's been in career for even further long. He's been in there at least 22 years, right? He's a deputy sheriff. His wife is also a sergeant in the local police department. So they didn't work their way up. So they've been in the game for a long time, and he's seen the uncertainty. He said he now has uncertainties and doubts about the profession itself. And I'm looking at it in that way. The climate of the world of law enforcement today, Lulu. That was a good point to point out right there. Because in this situation, law enforcement is more than just a job for them, right? It's a tradition. It's been an honor and a legacy that they've upheld for generations, as it seems, at least on one side of the coin, at least on one side of the family. They've upheld this tradition for generations. Because he said even his in-laws are members of various branches of law enforcement. So they probably got some feds. They probably got some corrections officers, parole officers, all type of law enforcement in their family. Would you say people don't believe in the sanctity of the LEO's professional anymore? Law enforcement officers don't exactly. Leos. That's a good way to look at it because a Leo is a boastful something. But law enforcement officers, their sanctity ain't the same. It's not the same anymore. People have to understand that the value that people used to hold on being a law enforcement officer isn't the same anymore. People used to look at law officers and be like, oh, I want to grow up to be a policeman. I want to grow up to be a fireman, or I want to grow up to be this, that, and the third. What's going on, Jeeps? I want to be this, that, and the third. Would you say Denver Brigham find the strengths of the children, not the family's desire? And see, that's another point. Again, this father may be considering, he's watched this son grow for 22 years, which means he's been in this profession for 22 years at least, which means now he's looking at it like, I know what it takes. What's going on, Denver Brig? I know what it takes. And my son doesn't really 2 + 2 not adding up in this situation. So maybe he sees the strengths in his child as being something that is not inside law enforcement. So you can't really fault the father for feeling as he does. Sorry about that. I was caught up on my strings over here. Again, I always play angels and devil's advocate, right? I'm always going to do both sides of the coin, right? You can't really knock the dad and say, like, it should be the son's decision to say he doesn't want to do that. Like, the father sees, he's looking at it. Like, if he was a coach and his son was trying to play quarterback and he wasn't good, then what justice would he be doing him if he felt like he should be on the basketball court? He like, son, maybe you should stick with basketball. I know you want to be out here, following your daddy's footsteps, but, or your family's footsteps. I know your grandpa, everybody play football, but you may be a hell of a tennis player. What you say, Dakar? If your son is, I just said tennis player. Son of a biscuit. He's not a football player. Let him know in the truth and in love. Law enforcement is no joke, and he knows what it takes because that's not the Oklahoma drill like in life when we'll set him down. Life will kick his ass as a police officer if he's not ready for that. So I don't knock this dad. But at the same time, like, I do understand where people are coming from saying that it should be the son's decision. But if he lets him know within these decisions that he's making, you say never push the elephant outrun the cheetah. Ask the elephant to knock the tree down, and that's true. You don't ask him to do something that's not within his wheelhouse. You know what you raised. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why, it baffles me when people see their children in a different light and what the children see themselves. Because, like, you know that your son knows deep down inside that he ain't built for that, and you should be able to talk to him about that. Or if he may, then again, hear the son out. Hear him out. If he feels like he's built for it, hear him out. Hear the reasons why he thinks that that's how he's ready for this. He may not even know that there are challenges that he is ill prepared for. Not only as an officer, but as a man. And the way that this guy is talking, he's actually a melanated brother. So now you got to look at it from a few different perspectives. If he's not feeling the sanctity of this profession anymore, like he's not feeling like it's a safe place for people to be, people like him, people like his son, he doesn't feel like it's going in the right direction for people like him, for people like his son, that is not the same as it was when the family latched on to this tradition, then he should have the right to be able to express that, right? No issues, no questions, no problems. Exactly. Lulu Talley said there are so many careers in law enforcement, which is a whole nother thing, a whole nother ball of wax too. If he will still want to be in it, help him get within the forensic side of things, if that's what's up. Maybe you see he watches a lot of CSI. Help him get in on that side of things. See, we thinking the same way, Lulu. You know what I mean? It's a lot of ways you can still get in law enforcement. That's another way that y'all can look at it. Don't look at it because I know he may just want to go out there and put on the badge and jump in the blues and get in the patrol car, but that's not the same as it was 22 years ago or more. It doesn't mean the same thing. Your superhero power as that person, as that portrayal, doesn't hit the same in as many areas anymore. It's some different skin in the game now. In that profession, in that particular branch of that particular profession. What is it that you are going to tell him when you sit him down, though? You know what I mean? On the surface, it seems like this is a natural progression, right? Something that he would normally do. What'd you say, McFadden? You say, what does the son want to do or be? Has he asked the son? That's my question, too, because apparently he said his son has recently expressed his desire to join the family business. So I'm assuming that it wants to be in patrol or, something along those lines. Something, that's going to follow within the steps of the father and the mother, his immediate family. Like, he's second generation or third generation or fourth generation law enforcement is what he's looking to be. What if it was something different? What if it was a medical profession and the dad didn't feel like, the son may not have what it takes to stomach it? Would the people be saying the same things? But then again, there's a lot of different branches of the medical field, just like there's a lot of different branches of law enforcement. It's a lot of different ways to skin the cat, right? So that's my first question. Ask him, what is it that he really wants to do inside law enforcement? Have an open and honest conversation. That's my number one thing. I always say, you got to be willing to talk first. You got to be willing to talk. And in talking and communicating, you got to be ready to listen, to hear him out. Because honesty and empathy is the key to it all. You got to be open and understanding. How do you express this to your immediate family? What's going on, trap professional? How do you express this to your immediate family? Then that's something different. How is that possible? How do you do that with your immediate family? Because they may look at you sideways like, what you mean you don't believe in the sanctity of this profession anymore? They may not look at you the same. Is that your worry? But if that's your only worry, then that is not a concern of you and your son. That don't have anything to do with you and your son. If you already have feelings and concerns about him not being cut out for this profession and you not really believing in it the same way anymore. You know? That's where you tap in with that. Because at that point, you're still communicating with him how you feel about his route towards law enforcement. Ask him, are there other things within that interest him? Don't just tell him like, well, you need to do this, and the third. Because at 22, nobody wants to hear that. Man, woman, or child of someone's, father or parent of someone's, sister's brother of someone. Nobody at 22 years old wants to hear somebody or watch somebody finger wag at them and tell them what they need and should and absolutely have to do. No, ask him, is there something else? Say, yeah, son, I realize that I know you're interested in going to the family business. Like, in what arena? In what arena? What area of the law enforcement do you want to go into? Find that out from him first. Ask the questions, but be ready to hear it. But also make sure you express your uncertainties about the profession. Because if you just tell him that you don't think that he's cut out for it, then that may be a slice on his character. To him, he may feel like that's a jab at his character as a man. And you don't want anybody to feel that way. You don't want anybody to feel like you just, you telling them like, hey, man, I don't think you ready for what we do. You try to tell them they're not family. And then make sure that you listen to his perspective too. He may offer some sort of insight or some sort of reassurance to you that you may not even knew existed. What's going on, Nika Lear? You may open up something to him. I mean, he may open up something to you that you didn't even know how he felt about something. You may think you know exactly who he is as a man or as your son, or, you may think you know all that you know about him, but he may have something he has yet to disclose to you. He may say, yeah, I want to go into this family business, but I may want to approach it this way. I may want to go into internal affairs because I see how crooked some of my family members are. You never know. He may give you some insight you never even understood on why he was going into the family business. You have to ask, what is it that interests you? Anytime you're trying to get inside somebody's head, right? Or you really trying to have a heart-to-heart, you can't just, you can't just go at it with your side of, or your perspective. You have to allow them to say what it is that they enjoy about even being a part of it. You have to allow them the space to say like, hey man, like this is what I get out of us being together, of us being a partnership, a friendship, a familyship, a kinship. So go in with open heart and ready to express yourself, but also going with open ears and ready to receive their expressions. Listen to your son. Check him out. See what it is he's talking about, right? Again, he may give you some perspective that you may not even knew existed within him. Remember, it's okay. It's okay to have different opinions as a family. Everybody doesn't have to think the exact same way. Everybody doesn't have to say like, yes, this is what our family does. That's what makes it a family, because together we strong. Individually, we just flipping off the world, or we just agreeing with the world, or we just, whatever, analogy you want to use based off a single individual finger, but together within our differences, we come together, we can do a hell of a lot. That's what makes the family stronger, the ability to be different, the allowance of people being different. You don't want everybody in the family to be the same, because then that people can pin you and be like, oh, they go to Johnson's. We know how they do. You don't want that. And you're like, oh, man, they family pretty diverse, man. They got a lot going on. They're pretty interesting. but they gonna stick together. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with sticking together. That's what you want your family to do. What you say, Michelle and Daniel, you say there's no need to unlearn, to relearn the putting away of the old, outdated habits and behaviors passed down through generations. Yeah, I mean, and that's a way to take on it too. You know, you need to unlearn or to be able to relearn, you know, but you don't want to brainwash yourself to the point where you just forget everything that came along with being who you are. You say maybe it's time to start a new family occupation, and this father may be trying to spearhead that, McFadden. You know, he may be trying to tap into something, saying like, "Hey, I don't really think I'm gonna be doing this too much longer, so we need to figure this out somewhere." I'm gonna be going to the other side of things. What if he decided to be a crook because he know how much about the law enforcement, or what if he decided to be a anti-law enforcement? Who knows? Who knows what the father may be going into, you know? But I know if you go in with an open mind and an open heart, you know, being able to, you know, express yourself and to be able to, what up, though, Donna Veazey? Being able to express yourself and to receive the expressions that are delivered back to you, then you're in a good spot, you know? And that's where you want to start the conversation at with your son, especially on a topic something similar to this. Like, you know, you don't think your son is cut out for the family business. You know how to, you know what it's like being a cop. You've been a law enforcement long enough to know that, you know, you made deputy sheriff. So you've been in it long enough. Your wife's a sergeant. So it's something inside of there where you feel like your son's not cut out for it, and you feel like you don't believe in the sanctity of the job anymore. What's up, Damon Williams? My brother-in-law on the line with us, D Wills in the bill. You know, the topic is, Donovan, we got a dad who sent in a letter. He said he don't feel like his son is cut out to be in the family business. The family business is law enforcement. He says he don't feel like he's cut out for it. Plus, he himself, as the father, doesn't really believe in the sanctity of it anymore. So now he's trying to figure out how to tell the son not to let him down and hurt his feelings, and also to let the family know, because a lot of them are in law enforcement as well. So that's the topic for the day. You know, and with a family that's filled with law enforcement, cool Millie yo, with a family that's filled with law enforcement, and a family that's you know, generations upon generations upon generations been built upon the same thing, there's going to be a lot of questions on why you don't want him to join. So be prepared for that. But then again, I said that's two separate entities. Like, your son conversation does have something to do with that, but it can be two totally separate conversations. You don't have to have the same one with him as you have with the family. But the family's gonna know why you didn't want him to go into that side of law enforcement. But like one of my viewers and listeners said earlier, there's a lot of branches of it. So if you sit down and converse with your son, then you may come up with a compromise together where he can still be in the family business and still not, you know, fall behind where you believe in the sanctity of the business anymore, or whether you feel like he's up to the snuff, right? So you got to be able to listen to his perspective and be ready to receive those reassurances. You know, what matters most is the approach on the situation. You know what I mean? You have to approach him with respect and understanding. Again, before, like I told you, empathy is a big thing. You got to, what's going on, Cali Twin? You got to be able to try to put yourself in his shoes, receiving this news from his father of all people, who's in the same profession. You have to approach this situation with respect of that all by itself. You know, what would you feel like as a man if your daddy came to you and said, son, I know this is the family business, but I don't think you up to it. I don't think you got what it takes to be family. You know how hurtful that would be to a young man of 22 years old? So you have to be able to approach this conversation with respect. Respect him as a man. What'd you say? Tell him to get his guard card, get his feet wet, and if he still wants to join, then put him in the academy. It's a lot. Exactly. It's a lot of different ways to get him an approach to it. But, you don't, with that one knockout, with the whole family being in law enforcement, I'm pretty sure he got an inside track on how to get in that academy off top. But I just think if you don't think he's up to it, take him on the outdoors range. Take him hunting when bullets can be possibly flying by his ass. I don't know what you feel like he's not up to it. Maybe you don't think he can stomach being a law enforcement officer or a Leo, is what Lulu Talley hit me with earlier. If you don't think he's up to snuff for being a law enforcement officer, what is it about him that you don't think? Again, when you're telling him these things, you have to do it with respect to him as a man talking to another man. What's Donovan Brooks says? Donovan Brooks says the father sees his son. He knows what his son is. He knows his son. He sees something that could possibly get him killed. He might need to be on the office side of things. My dad owned an electric company. He trusted me 2 or 3 of his sons. He always wanted to watch over the third brother, though. But bro damn near died one summer because he forgot to cut the main breaker off. Pop saw that years ahead of time. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, everybody ain't cut out to be the same type of person. And you don't want everybody to be the same. You may want a thumb. You may want a pinky. You may want a strong middle finger. You say you can wire a brand new house in 2 days by myself, but you got the juice. Okay, all right, juice. You're going to fry you're going to be a little piece of bacon down there in Houston. Better chill out trying to wire some houses, Donovan. But like, that's real though. That's a real perfect example though. Thank you for that, Mr. Brooks. A perfect example. You say, I think the father might be second guessing being the police, and that's what I'm looking at too. Knockout. Like, I think the father don't think that the son has what it takes to be the type of police that it takes to be a police officer today. Like McFadden said earlier, like Lulu Talley said earlier, the climate of a police officer today is different than it was 22 years ago when the father got on the force or when the mother got on the force. What's going on, United by Lovely Nick? You know what I mean? The climate of law enforcement is different today than it was then. It's different. So the dad he's got it forecasted for the son. He don't think he's got what it takes. He knows who his son is. You heard Dennis Green, the late great Dennis Green, a long time ago. They are who we thought they were. It says, my fathers, if you don't see good principles of the code blue, the world of the cops, to loyalty to cops. Exactly. He may not see that his son got what it takes to be loyal to police. He may be questioning what some of his family members are doing right now. But then again, there are other branches of law enforcement. So I saw you on here. I saw you tune in, concerned father. I saw you tune in to the show. What's going on, Cali Bay? Little cousin in the building. I saw you tune into the show, right? So my thing is, what if you talk to him about other branches of law enforcement? Because he doesn't have to exactly kick in the door, waving the fofo the same way you and the rest of his immediate family has done. The same way, because my whole thing is I want to be a fly on the wall when you tell your wife, a sergeant in the local PD, that what's going on, Lucy Lowe, babe? You on here twice. I like that. That's what's happening. You very, very versatile, babe. You know what I mean? I would like to be a fly on the wall when you tell your wife, who's a sergeant in the local PD, that you don't think your son has what it takes. Because I wonder if she feels the same way, but just didn't want to tell you. I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation, because that's where you got to be ready to have all of these conversations, concerned father. Because again, this is a family tradition that your son has expressed his desire to be a part of. But what part? At what depth is his involvement? Most importantly, though, concerned father, is that you have to be supportive of your son, regardless of what this conversation brings about. If it doesn't go the way that you want it, per se, you can't cop a toot and go pout and be a pouty dad over in the corner. What'd you say, Donovan? You said they probably both on the same tip. He probably need to talk to the wife first. And that's an option too. You know, that's an option too. He might need to talk to the wife first. Like, hey, babe, this is what I'm thinking. What you think about Junior? You think Junior got what it take to be a police officer? Because I don't think he got what it take. You know, and he said just come up with a solution for the son and be open. And especially if they feel in the same way. If they feel in the same way, Donovan, then that's the perfect thing to do. You know, but the only way you're going to find that out is to have those conversations. But you have to be honest and open with everybody and be understanding because your wife may get pissed. You say, cool, Mill, you would talk to the wife first as well. Absolutely. You know, don't just hit your son with this thing because what if he a mama's boy? Go running to mama and be like, Mommy, my daddy said I don't want to be a police officer. And your wife be like, why you ain't talk to me about this first? You know, we could have came up with a solution. Now I got to play good cop, bad cop. Literally. You know, talk to all involved. Maybe not the in-laws or things of that nature because leave that to her. That's her family. I know we all family once we get married, but shoot, you know, that's her family. Let her talk to her daddy now. You know what I mean? If they the police, especially if they the police. What's up, Mike Denardi? Especially if they the police. Shoot, let her talk to them. You know, police, y'all got your own way of thinking. You know, but I would talk to the wife first as well. With all honesty, I would be on there and I would say, hey, babe, check this out. Little Junebug, I don't think he got what it take to be the police. I don't think he's got the grit. You say now the wife about to put the husband in the baby boy headlock for making her son mad. Exactly. She about to be looking like Ving Rhames to his Jody because he done pissed off the son. You know what I mean? So I would definitely talk to the wife first and say, I don't think he got what it takes. I don't think he got the grit. And to be honest, babe, I ain't really feeling being a police officer myself anymore. I'm not feeling it the same way I used to. You know? You have to be, because if you feeling this way, you better not talk to nobody else about this before you talk to your wife about this, especially if she in the same profession. You know, especially if she in the same profession. If you tapping out of this job and your wife is still in the 10 toes and you tell somebody before her and she find out from somebody besides you, man, you in more trouble than you are with anybody right there, dog. You in trouble. Hands down. No joke, dog. You better talk to your wife first. I agree with the peanut gallery on this one today. Donovan Brooks, Cool Milio, y'all said it right. I'm with y'all, dog. I would talk to the wife first, too. What'd you say, Mr. Marshawn Daniels? I'm hoping the wife is not listening and he gets to her before someone else gets. Hey. Ooh, I ain't even looked to see if your wife was on here, concerned father. Uh-oh. Don't. I hope you ain't tell her to tune in and you ain't talk to her, though. I'll sip my tea to water to that. You know what I mean? I hope she ain't hear about this before you talk to her about this. That would be a big no, dog. So that's where, first and foremost, talk to your wife, and then y'all can come up with a blueprint to talk to Junior, even if she feels differently, because he's gonna want to know both perspectives. He's gonna be like, "Well, Ma, how you feel about this? You the police? You feel the same way Dad feel? Y'all both not rocking to be in the police no more, or Dad just on his own ish." You know what I mean? Like, so it's good to go at him with a parental perspective, especially if you both share the profession. You say, I have to go to the college and face off with the police and with kids protesting. See, that's what I'm saying. It's people protesting right now. Like, this is a perfect example. You got different police that's dealing with different situations, both albeit dangerous, possibly, but they're dealing with different situations. One may be, look on the news, you see a car chase. The other may be on the news trying to hold back protesters at Columbia or at another university somewhere across the Americas. Does your son have what it takes to actually be a helper, a protector in those situations? Again, talk to your wife first, you know. But you have to be able to go into this knowing that you are going to be encouraging of your son regardless of his decision. You never want your kids to think that you don't believe in what they're doing. You can express vehemently about how you may not support it, but if they're doing it and you know they doing it and they talk to you about they doing it and they told you they doing it and you don't believe in them doing it, like their ability to do it, then that's an issue. That's going to create a larger wedge between you and your son. That's going to build a larger wedge because it's going to be somebody out there that's going to believe in them, and he's going to know it. He's going to know in his heart of hearts that this person truly believes in me. And now they're becoming the person that they confide in more than even you as a father or as a mother, as a, as a protector, as a provider, as a teacher, as a confidant. Again, to the concerned father who wrote this letter, I salute you for even having, the guts to reach out and ask this question. All I say to you is trust your instincts, man. Trust your instincts, dog, and be able to openly communicate with your son and your wife and the rest of the family because you really feel a certain way about this. And if you really feeling a certain way about this, then it must be, it's like getting a burp out. It's like when you burp and you've been trying to get it out all day and that gas bubble been sitting in your chest. What's going on, Killer D? That gas bubble been sitting in your chest all day and you finally, you feel so much better. You sound better. You move easier. There's less cramping going on in your world. There's less congestion going on in your chest. You speak with conviction. Would you say family meeting, open table? That's another route. But again, if you have a family meeting, you gotta let the heads of the household come together before the meeting is had. If it's only one head of the household, then the head of the household can call the meeting at any given time. But if it's more heads of the household, y'all got to have a understanding and come together like armpits and be able to have a united front on how to approach this meeting, on how to approach this conversation. Let's recap a little bit. To go back over things, we talking to a concerned father, and the concerned father asked us, how does he tell his son that he don't think he's cut out to be a part of the family business? And if everybody in the business is doing the business, including the mama, and on the immediate family, the other side of the family, the in-laws, everybody in the family business. But the dad don't feel like the son is cut out for it. Plus, the dad himself don't feel like he's believing in the family business anymore. So we talked to him. We said, we gave him props, and we said that find out what other facets of the family business what other branches does the family business offer? What other outlets are there to get into the family business? Which their particular one is law enforcement. Could he get on the political side of things? Could he get in the office side of things, the forensic side of things? How does he fit in the family business? Does it have to be the same way that everybody else has gotten into it? We also talked to him about, like, on the surface, it may seem like it's the natural thing for them to do. But you have to be able to, if you know your child and you've seen your child and you've rocked and watched how they operate and move, you got to be able to protect them by warning them and giving them a real understanding of what they may be facing. But we also talked about how he needed to talk to his wife about this situation first because she herself is in law enforcement. Would you say take him to Camp Pendleton and have him do a mud run? I mean, there's a lot of things. It may not be about the toughness. It may be just about the mental capacity to be able to understand what it is that takes to be involved in this family business. You would say the same thing if somebody was hustling. Same thing if somebody was being a doctor. We talked about how, you got to be able to open up and be willing to listen to them and understand why they want to be a part of the family business or what part of it they want to be in the first place. Be willing to receive and encourage them. We talked about that regardless what the outcome of the conversation is, but the conversation must be had. You know, some police, like you say, right, some law enforcement isn't in the field. You know, some law enforcement isn't out there and in danger. You know, sometimes it may be people that's just, you know, behind the scenes, the BTSers. It's somebody that's in that lab that takes that gun that they doing ballistics on and shoots it into that tunnel and it land in the water. That's their job, and they got a badge. They have a badge. I have no idea what their job title is, but I know for sure they got a badge. And that's law enforcement. You may not be enforcing the laws, but you may be in law enforcement. You know, we also discussed how it's important to listen to the perspectives of his son, and hear him out, that he may give him some insight that he didn't even know that was involved in his decision making. You know, we also talked about how it's important that he remembers to approach this conversation with respect, first and foremost, with his son as a man. And that's what we talked about, Mr. Daniels. We talked about how the father's reluctance with the police profession is the reason why he should be so open and honest with his son. Because his disdain or reluctance to continue to follow in that path himself should be a cautionary tale to the son. Like, you know, it may not be all what you think it's cracked up to be. Everything that's glittering isn't gold over here for us, son. You know? But he has to approach that conversation with respect with his 22-year-old son as being a man and being able to receive what he's got to talk to him about. You know, again, I salute the concerned father for sending this letter. I hope that some of what we said today made you, gave you a further advancement in your thought processes on how you're going to handle this situation. Again, we all have expressed our hope and feeling that you hope, and we hope that you talk to your wife about it first. Because again, with her being in law enforcement, it would hit different if she found this out from somebody other than you prior to you talking to your son. I think it's a decision that she might want to help you make as a parent, as a parental unit. So talk to her first, and y'all come up with the right blueprint to be able to talk to your son about your reluctance for him to join law enforcement. All right. So as always, y'all, appreciate everybody that tuned in and tapped in to Holla at the Homie today. As always, I've been your homie 360 the Poet, THAPOET. And anytime you want to send in a letter, you got a question to ask me, and you want to get it answered right here on Holla at the Homie, send me a letter, send me an email, send me a text if you got my phone number. If you're fortunate enough to have my phone number, which has been the same since the last millennium, then shoot me a text and be like, hey, homie, I got a question for you. If you do like me, send a voice text. I like those better. Send me an email at hollaatthehomie@gmail.com. That's HOLLAATTHAHOMIE. Appreciate it, Ray Butler. At gmail.com, y'all. So send me that at hollaatthehomie@gmail.com. Until next week, y'all. Again, it's Lovers and Friends weekend this weekend out here in Vegas. So y'all be careful. Temperature going up just a little bit. It's going to be about them 90s out here. So it ain't hit the triple digits yet. But all my people that's out there in the festival grounds this weekend, y'all be safe. And to everybody out there that's doing y'all thing across the country, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in to Holla at the Homie. And until next time, continue to enjoy this journey called life. I'm 360. I'm out in a minute.